You are broken because now the possibility to love him, to respect him is gone. Now there is no possibility. The doors are closed and you have missed an opportunity. This is the 45th episode of Dream 100 Show. Welcome to the show, listener. I'm your host, Savitha Hosamane. Each week, we interview today's most successful and inspiring business owners with winning teams, or we explore one aspect of evolving business owners cultivating their inner strengths for personal growth, which will impact business growth positively. In this episode, we will be exploring about how to say goodbye to a person without grief. All of us have encountered persons who go away from our lives, sometimes without any notice. The person whom you would have been seeing until last night, yesterday, and you wake up in the morning and you realize that person is no more. It can be a member of your family, or it can be a member of your team, or it can be somebody whom you were very close to, a family friend or a professional friend. Many a time, the more we are closer to some persons, the more we experience sadness and grief is what we usually think and feel, right? So, of late, when I had a few experiences, when a family friend encountered the death of his father, or when I encountered the death of a person, a team member whom I was consulting in an company, this led me to questioning very deeply, how do we prepare ourselves to say goodbye to any person without grief, because we start grieving inwardly when we see such sudden deaths happening. So I wanted an answer for it. And when I started searching for this answer, I came across this book, A Sudden Clash of Thunder by Osho, where he very beautifully explains it with a story of how a father who had loved his son so much did not grieve when his son died. So his wife gets very disturbed and she goes to him and she asks him this question. No one in this world had loved his son as much as you did. Why do you not grieve now that he is dead? So the father answers to his wife in a very simple way. He says that I had no son, and when I had no son, I did not grieve. Now that he is dead, it is the same as it was before when I had no son. Why should I grieve over him? So now let's understand why it was not difficult for the father not to grieve over somebody whom he loved so much. Ordinarily, our logic is that if we love a person too much, we will grieve too much when that person is gone. This logic has a very deep flaw in it. Osho says, in fact, if you have loved a person really, when he is gone, he is gone. You will not grieve much. On the other hand, if you have not loved the person deeply, then you will grieve very much. He says, try to understand this. He quotes other examples like when your father dies or your mother dies, if you have loved your father totally when he was alive, You will be able to say goodbye to him without any grief because you loved him. That experience of love was total and fulfilling. Nothing is left undone, nothing is hanging over your head. Whatsoever was possible has happened. Now you can accept it. What more was possible? Even if he had been alive, what more would have been possible? The experience is complete. Whenever an experience is complete, you are ready to say goodbye very easily. But if you have not loved your father as you always wanted to, you have not been respectful towards him as you always wanted to, you will start feeling guilty. Now the father is gone. Now there is no way to fulfill your desire. Now there is no way to show your respect, your love. Now there is no way. You will start feeling yourself hanging in the middle. You will not be at ease and you cannot say goodbye. You will cry and weep and you will be broken. And you will say that you are broken because your father is dead. But the real thing is something else. You are broken because now the possibility to love him, to respect him is gone. Now there is no possibility. The doors are closed and you have missed an opportunity. The son will cry more if he has not really loved his father. If he had loved his father, he will be able to accept the fact. Love is very accepting and very understanding. Once an experience is complete, you can get out of it very easily. That is why you are able to say goodbye without any guilt. You can just slip out of it as the snake slips out of its old skin. This is the understanding of all the sages that while you are loving a person, if you love him totally, there is going to be no misery. If you love him totally, if you enjoy and delight in him totally, and the person is gone, of course, one feels a little sad, but it is not grief. One misses a little, but one is capable of remaining centered. One is not distracted. If you are in love, love totally. So nothing remains hanging. Otherwise, that hanging, incomplete experience, that unlived experience will haunt you. You cannot complete them now because the person has disappeared. You cannot drop them because incomplete experiences cannot be dropped. It is just like a ripe fruit which drops on its own accord when it is ripe. Whereas when an experience is complete, it is a ripe fruit. It drops on its own accord and it leaves no scar behind and no wound. Whereas if a fruit is not ripe, then it does not drop on its own accord. So now let us not miss out on opportunities that are there every day. And let's make use of this opportunity to love a person totally and complete our experiences so that we are enriched from within and we are able to say goodbye. Of course, there will be sadness, but there will be no grief. Sadness is natural and it will disappear in time, and it is nothing to be worried about. You will miss the person a little, which is natural, but you will not be in grief. Love is understanding, and love is so understanding that not only does it understand life, it understands death also. Just like the man who told his wife, I had no son, and when I had no son, I did not grieve. There was a moment in my life when the son was not there, and I was happy without him. I had known no grief then. Then the son came, and I was happy with him. Now that he is gone, I am again in the same situation as before. I was not in grief then, so why should I be in grief now? Again, I'm in the same situation. The son is not there. I'm not a father. Again, once I used to be not a father, then I became a father. I am not again a father. Something has happened, disappeared, and I'm left in the same way as I was before. This is what Zen people say, that one day you were not in this world, you were not born. Do you remember in any way you were unhappy when you were not born? Then why be worried when you die? You will again go back to the same state. You were not, and you don't remember any unhappiness. One day you will again disappear. So why be worried? So let's remember this story in our day to day lives and imbibe its impact. If you can remember it, it can become a transforming influence on your life. It can help you to reach your center. This is the spiritual dimension of how to say goodbye to a person without actually grieving for it. So let's take this opportunity and go out and love each person so totally, so that when the time comes to say goodbye, we will be able to say goodbye without grief, and the sadness which we experience and the missing that which we experience will gradually fade away without leaving any scars or wounds within us. It's been a wonderful way of exploring how to say goodbye to a person without any grief. Thank you so much. And let's not create scars or wounds, but let's allow experiences to be complete and drop it when it is ripe. Thank you. Never lose out on an opportunity to learn about cultivating your inner strengths on Dream 100 Show. We strongly believe that life is just a play. We win some, we lose some, we miss some, and we mess with some. So enjoy your journey and play to the fullest. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Dream 100 Show. And now make a smart decision of taking the next step towards building your trust and your dreams. Don't forget to subscribe to Dream 100 Show and leave a review on Apple Podcast. Share your biggest takeaways with us and follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. For more details, shoot an email to us. This is Savitha signing off, and catch you soon in our next episode.